Hello, explorers, and welcome back. I am Leonidas, and this is Stationeers. Here we are at episode 12. Not the 12th episode I've released in this summer series, but what I'm calling episode 12. Episode 11 actually had 3 parts, 1, 1.5, and 2, where we went over the I gotta remember my own acronym, the AAF, Automated Advanced Furnace. Yes, that's the thing. And now in this episode, what I'm planning to do is it will hopefully be short. I'm planning on 10 minutes, so you can plan on 30 to 40. What I'm planning to do is go over the fuel and cooling system in more detail. I briefly went over it in episode 11, part 1. I think I just showed it. But in this episode, I'm going to go through the whole thing. And then I think what I'm going to do is, depending on how long it takes, I will show you my main base. It's going to look weird because I have to put it in the air. Yeah, I might do that part. But I'm going to just kind of show you what my base looks like. So I have a number of series that I want to put out in rapid succession. The problem is I'm about to leave town for work for 2 weeks. The other problem is Stationeers, Rocketworks, the company that makes, developer that makes Stationeers, announced a big upcoming change. Maybe not big, but impactful. 2 things. The first are new storms. Right now, the moon has no storms. When you go to other planets like Mars, for example, is kind of the next step after the moon, lunar, you would go to Mars. They have dust storms, windstorms that kick up, and it can be destructive, moves all your stuff all over, damages your solar panels and things like that. Very hard to move and whatnot. The moon doesn't have any storms, but it will in the form of solar storms. Solar storms are being added to all planets and moons and I don't know what you call them, places, locations in the game. And they will, I don't believe they'll cause damage. They'll cause your suit to heat up, and they will really max out your solar panel output to the point where it could damage your cables. So just know those are coming. I was trying to get those out before the update. These coming videos before that update may not happen, but I've been yakking a long time. So let's jump into it. I'm going to load my home world base, and I somehow messed up the save game and saved over it, and so it's showing the this guy is incomplete. If you remember from my last video that I put out, this was missing. I had to use a different game. So but let's go through this whole system here, and it should be fairly short. So again, what I'm going to do is demonstrate how to put this together, and I'm going to explain why these things are here without actually placing them. So this is all going to be just an explanation video. If you don't like this, use the chapters, skip ahead to where I do the tour of my base. But this is where we're at. So let's start with fuel. This is the fuel side. White, red, orange are all the fuel side. Green is all the cooling. Let's start with the volatiles. This is an ice crusher, right, that we would place down. It just needs power. And this is where I put my pink ice to be munched up and turned into volatiles, which is actually hydrogen. So in the back of my ice crusher, I only have one outlet, and it's a gas, the gas connection. There is no liquid that comes from the volatiles. Ice, volatiles. I always do that. Volatiles. Right here. So the only thing that we get out of it is just the gas that is called volatiles. So I connect this. It looks like a clown face on my shadow. And I have a T-junction here. You don't need this T-junction if you don't want it. So what I have is it goes, the gas comes down here, and it's pure. It doesn't need to be filtered or anything. So then it enters the system. This guy is a, whoa, not a trank. I forget the exact name. It is a tank big, not insulated. Or is it a small tank? Might be a small tank. Can I actually find out? Whoops. Where's my little labeler? I know you're in here somewhere. Can you tell I didn't practice this beforehand? Labeler. Oh, it's right there. I didn't need to open that one up. And this is, yeah, small tank. So this is a small tank. Small tank. Yeah, plural. Right here. And then I just colored it. The max pressure that you can have in here is 60 point, let's round down for safety reasons, 60.7 megapascals. It'll also hold 60,000 liters. If I remember right, this can be a gas or liquid tank. No, I guess not. Okay, we have a liquid tank small, so disregard. This is just gas. Just gas. Just gas. These, you can... These are, sometimes they show up in the game. You can spawn them and things. So kind of ignore these. But this is just the generic tank right here. So this is a small tank. The connection is down here. And you can see that in mine, I have, no, our next. No, you let me click next. Oh, I guess I have to turn it on first. On, then next. There we go. Okay. R. So, and what I'm using is my Atmospherics Atmos Analyzer chip that's inside of this. So in the small tank, you can see that my pressure is 2.18 megapascals. I have a long way to go to 60. And I've got 5,000 kilomoles. This is the number you really care about, to me. This is, hey, just don't go above 60. 60 is actually pretty high. 59. 5,000 kilomoles, that, or 5 kilomoles, that's a lot. I have plenty in here for what I need. So, how do I get rid of these things? There we are. Turn this off. Right click to turn on and off. E switches hands so I don't have to look at it anymore. Oh good, my battery's dying. Let's resolve that because that's going to be annoying. I'm holding Alt, clicking that to get rid of this guy. And let's just swap that out so we don't have to play that game. Okay. So the ice crusher comes through, or the gas comes through here, and it'll sit in this tank. It'll also fill all the rest of the pipes. In this case, my pipe isn't very long. I have this little label on here just to remind myself of what it is. And it goes into my fuel mixer. Okay, and we're just going to end talking about that right there. What I have here is when I do air conditioning units, do I want to show you this? I'll show you in the tour. When I do air conditioning units, I use Volatiles gas as the coolant, or refrigerant, or whatever you want to call it. So that's all that this setup is. It allows me to fill these canisters with Volatiles gas. I have them set to a certain pressure, and I can turn it on and off as necessary. I run over, I fill it up, and I bring it back. Again, I'll demonstrate that later. This is an analyzer that will give me information about what's going on in here. It's on right now, so it tells me that inside my, it should match this, right? 2.18. This is just a way for me to do this without using my handheld tablet. But it gives me the same information. What's the temperature, the capacity? It tells me there's no liquid volumes in it. It tells me that I have 50 moles, or 5 kilomoles. 50.6 moles. I think that number's got to be off, right? Because I got more than 50 moles. Interesting. That's yeah. I have more volatiles than that, unless it means in this actual pipe. But either way, it just gives me an overview of how much is in there without having to use my tablet. And I can turn it on and off with this switch. So that's what this guy does. Now let's come over to the oxygen. Can I fit through here? Oh, I can. Same setup. We have an oxygen, or an Oxite ice crusher. Oxite, if you recall, contains oxygen and nitrogen, also both gases. So all I have connected is the gas pipe. Now, we do need to filter this because there's two different gases. All I want's the pure oxygen. So with my oxygen filters, the gas comes through here. This was in case I needed to fill an oxygen tank. I have oxygen being created elsewhere, so I took it down. But that's what that is. And then it goes into this tank here. Again, I colored all of these. I spray painted them to make sure they were all white. And then this is the same tank, does the same thing as my red one. And if I look at it, it's got 3.17 megapascals on the pressure and 7.37 kilomoles, which is 7,370 moles. So I have a pipe analyzer right here, right? And it tells me kind of the same thing. Again, the moles are different, so I guess that just means in that pipe segment. Yeah, I don't know. And then that also comes into the fuel mixer. Now, fuel mixer. You need this to create your fuel. Yeah, let's just talk about the fuel setup first real fast. Small tank, just like the others, colored orange, because that's kind of the Stationeers standard for what fuel is. You can see that I have twice as much volatiles as I do oxygen. 2-to-1 ratio. H2O. The H is the volatiles, the O is obviously the oxygen. And that's what fuel is. Just think of it as, I don't know, steam, I guess, but it's not steam. So though, that's what fuel is. And I need that particular ratio. It's important. After it leaves the volume, after it leaves the what's this thing called? The mixer. Oh my goodness. Here's a pipe meter that kind of does the same thing. It just shows, it does a similar thing to the analyzer, except for that less information. Basically, just shows what my pressure is in there, which should match this guy. Yeah, it does. So again, just another a quick thing that I can glance at and see what my pressure is easily. This guy is for my welder. Can I bring my welder up? Where do I find? There he is, right here. I'm holding Alt, clicking on him, and there's my canister. This is fuel. We went over this last time, but that's why we even colored it orange. If I needed to get more, well, fuel in there for my welder, I throw them in here. I have it set to 7,000. Turn it on. It fills. All right, we'll pretend it filled because I don't want to wait. And then now I can use my torch, right? So that's what I have that set up for, is just to fill that torch canister. That makes sense. So same thing with this here. And this is just so that I can set the pressure. Well, no, not set the pressure. All of these regulators, they force air, gas in to a certain pressure. Otherwise, it would just equalize, is that the word? Equalize with whatever is the pressure is in here. So if the pressure in here is, what did we say it was? 1.55 megapascals, that's all I'm going to get in my canister, which is really not very much. So I use this to kind of force it in there. It's a pump, really. It's a gas pump. Gas, not meaning petrol, but you know, that air gas. So it pumps it in and gives me the pressure that I want. That's about it for the fuel system, right? It just sits in here. This is just a storage tank. These are pretty big. I mean, it would take a lot of time to fill these up. You can just keep dumping ice again over and over and over and over and never have, probably, it would take a really long time to fill those up. An alternative, if you didn't want to use this, is an inline tank, which I've showed. And if you did, say, the gas one, the volume is obviously less. The other one was 6,000. This is 250. Max pressure is still 60.7, 60 megapascals. If I remember right, all gas containers, including pipes, tanks, and whatnot, have a max pressure of 60, unless they're reinforced. But generally, it's 60 megapascals is the limit. So this is much smaller. If you didn't want to build a bigger one, it's totally up to you. To build those, small tank, you just do one of these. Oh, it used to require 2. Interesting. Oh, I guess they do have large tank. Okay, small tank, large tank. This one requires 5. And it has a 50,000 liter instead of 6,000. So, still the same max pressure. It looks like it's powered. We would never use those. So, I can't even fill up the small ones. But anyway, they're there if you wanted to. That's the difference. And then from there, this is just an open line, and it would go here, and then my volume pump, right, is connected and goes on to the advanced furnace itself. That's the fuel line. Pretty straightforward. Let's get back to the mixer. As we said, the mix ratio is important. When you set this up, the volatiles needs to come from the bottom, the one that's in line with the outlet. If you are using the script, this script that we set up here with our advanced furnace is built in so that if you name it correctly and you connect it to it, it will do the mixing for you. It uses the pipe analyzers and adjusts as necessary, and it will do it all for you. It is handy and not a bad way to go. I guess I cut off. Where is it connected? This way. It's through here that it, and that's part of the reason why I set it on this side, out from the, what's this thing called, transformer, so that it could read the data to everything back here. So I do use it. I don't always want it running because sometimes I want volatiles. It will continue to run until one of these goes to 0 and then it'll stop. And I don't always want that. That's why I cut the wire here and I just leave it sitting there so I can, in a hurry, I can just reconnect it really quickly. So I don't always want it running. If you turn it off, it'll turn itself back on. That's just how the script is. But it will set it for you. So it now has it at 66.5. You can do this manually, right? I can move it up, move it down. Holding C, it'll do smaller increments, up and down. You can also use the labeler to change it. If I wanted to set this to, instead of that number, right? If I wanted to set it to, I don't know, 77, it'll do it for me. Get rid of both these things. Right, now you can see it's a 77 and 23. So the one that you're setting is input number 1. This is input number 1. This is input number 2. When you, will it tell you that? I don't actually know if it tells you that. Well, have a little experiment. Let's break things. Does it tell you? I guess I can't actually see it. Okay, I'll tell you what. Now I'm making a mess. When you take apart, I showed this in another video. Never mind. I'm not going to repeat that. I was just going to say, when you take apart a pipe, the water doesn't actually... Pipe label? Well, that's lame. It used to say oxygen, didn't it? Whatever. Now I got to get it off of there, which is hard to... Oh, no. Sweet. It just floats. Will it tell me... Fuel mixer, input 2. There it is right there. So you can see that where it says fuel mixer, input 2. Right, if you get it just right. Bingo, bongo, bingo. That's what we want. So, make sure that you get these set up correctly. Oxygen goes in 2, volatiles goes in 1. Right, the one that's in line with the out has to be the volatiles. If you're going to use the automated, you can switch them and then just change the input numbers accordingly. Instead of input 1 being 66.5, you can make input 1 be 33.5. Whatever you want. It's up to you. Whatever your heart desires. So, there you go. But if you hook it all together, the script will run it for you. The other thing it has to be connected to, and the labeling on this. Let's do the labeling. Labeling on this has to be called fuel mixer. And then it also needs to see these guys. The H2 analyzer and the O2 analyzer, I believe, have to be included on there. Is that true? I think so. And I thought this had an analyzer, but I guess not. Oh, the analyzers come back here. Maybe it's those analyzers. Anyway, I forget. I can't remember if I named those or if they're in the script. I guess I could check, but anyhow. There you go. That's how... Oh, I didn't even grab my labeler. That was the torch. Not paying attention. So that's the system set up there. You don't need all these extra pipe meters and things like that. Do whatever works for your situation, but that's how I've set mine up. Now going to the cooling. Turn this off because this is a big power drain. Again, from the oxygen, you can either vent out the nitrogen if you don't want it. In my case, I use it, so I send it on to here. This works the same way. I use Nitrice, which has nitrogen and nitrous oxide. I need to filter this out. So with my nitrogen filter, right, the nitrogen goes on, the nitrous oxide comes out here and just vents out. I have these heaters so it doesn't turn to a liquid. It stays a gas so it doesn't blow up my pipes. Same thing. Here's my analyzer. Here's my little regulator so that I can fill nitrogen bottles. What do I use nitrogen for? Oh, propellant. For my jetpack, I think is all I use that for. Again, it comes out hot, so I have all these radiators just to cool it down. So the pipe network is way bigger. And if it gets to a liquid, it will damage your system. But I have these all the way down, and then it goes into the coolant. Pretty straightforward there. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 large, what are these things called? Radiator. There's different kinds. So these are called the medium radiator. When you put it down, there are 2 different types. There's a medium radiator kit. There's a convection and then just a regular. Don't do the no, we do want the no, we want this one. This is for a vacuum. This is if we have an atmosphere. Don't do the one with an atmosphere because we don't have an atmosphere. So do the regular medium radiator. Put those down. They are kind of expensive. They take a lot of resources. These guys are not, but they do the same thing. They're just easier. Oh, these guys are way finicky. Trying to run pipes through here, you can't run coils within a certain distance of them. I think I've shown this, right? You can't, they can't be within a certain radius for some reason. Pretty annoying. Same with pipes. That's why they're separated the way that they are. They are difficult to work with. Not my favorite, but they are pretty effective to get, because again, you need your coolant to be cool. So I try to cool it down best I can. And that's the fuel system. And I went way over time. So 22 minutes I took instead of the 10. But that's how I set it up. Feel free to make changes. You just need to have volatiles, oxygen to make fuel. You then need to have a way to cool it down. And nitrogen does not affect the temperature. Well, it's not reactive. So it's a good coolant. It doesn't hurt the system. You can also throw in water ice manually, and it'll cool it down. But again, that has oxygen in it, I believe. Whoops, water. Let's just do ice. No, here it is. It has nitrogen and water. I guess nitrogen's not so bad, but anyway, you can toss that in there. So there you go. That's my fueling and cooling setup. Now, like I promised, I will show you the rest of my base. My base, my fueling cooling system, this video was not... Actually, I'm going to break this up into 2. I'm going to break this up into 2 videos. One will be the episode 12 showing the fueling and cooling system. The other will be just a what do you call it, walkthrough of my base and all that it is. So more to come. More to come. I have 2, maybe 3 more things I want to show off. I don't know if I'll get them out before I go to on my work vacation. Probably not. Work vacation. It still works a vacation. My work trip. I wish it was a vacation. But anyway, yeah, so stay tuned. More coming. Join my Discord to receive notifications of when I put these videos out. If you have any questions or comments, that's the easiest place because I can't see them in YouTube. Or they just don't. I can, just not very quick. If you want a fast response, join my Discord. Links in the description below. Otherwise, for now, I am Leonidas. Thanks for stopping by, and I will see you again soon.